The doctrine of the mean is both the doctrine of Confucianism and also the title of one of the 4 books of Confucian philosophy. The text is attributed to Zisi, the only grandson of Confucius. It was published as a chapter in the Classic of Rites. The phrase doctrine of the mean first occurs in Book VI, verse 29 of the Analects of Confucius. The master said, "The virtue embodied in the doctrine of the mean is of the highest order, but it has long been rare among people." Analects never expands on what this term means, but Zisi's text, Doctrine of the Mean, explores its meaning in detail, as well as how to apply it to one's life. The text was adopted into the canon of the Neo-Confucian movement, as compiled by Zisi, although Burton Watson translated Zhong Yong as Doctrine of the Mean. Other English-language translators have rendered it differently. James Legge called it Constant Mean. Pierre Reichmann's Middle Way, while Arthur Waley chose Middle Use. Ezra Pound's attempts include Unswerving Pivot and Unwobbling Pivot. Roger T. Ames and David L. All titled the 2001 translation focusing the familiar interpretation. The Doctrine of the Mean is a text rich with symbolism and guidance to perfecting oneself. The mean is also described as the unwobbling pivot, or Zhong Yong. Zhong means bent neither one way or another, and Yong represents unchanging. In James Legge's translation of the text, the goal of the mean is to maintain balance and harmony from directing the mind to a state of constant equilibrium. The person who follows the mean is on a path of duty and must never leave it. A superior person is cautious, a gentle teacher, and shows no contempt for his or her inferiors. He always does what is natural according to her or his status in the world. Even common men and women can carry the mean into the practices, as long as they do not exceed the natural order. The doctrine of the mean represents moderation, rectitude, objectivity, sincerity, honesty, and propriety. The guiding principle is that one should never act in excess. The doctrine of the mean is divided into 3 parts: the axis, Confucian metaphysics; the process, politics; the perfect word, sincerity, ethics. Guidelines. Doctrine of the mean instructed 3 guidelines: self-watchfulness, leniency, and sincerity, on how to pursue doctrine of the mean, and those who follow these guidelines can be called superior man. Zhong Ni said, "The superior man embodies the course of the mean. The mean man acts contrary to the course of the mean." Self-watchfulness. This guideline requires self-education, self-questioning, and self-discipline during the process of self-cultivation. This principle was demonstrated in the first chapter of Doctrine of the Mean. The superior man does not wait till he sees things to be cautious, nor till he hears things to be apprehensive. There is nothing more visible than what is secret, and nothing more manifest than what is minute. Therefore the superior man is watchful over himself when he is alone. Leniency. This guideline requires understanding, concern, and tolerance towards one another. Leniency was demonstrated in the 13th chapter. When one cultivates to the uttermost the principles of his nature, and exercises them on the principle of reciprocity, he is not far from the path. What you do not like when done to yourself, do not do to others. In this chapter, Confucius explained this guideline with 4 examples. To serve my father, as I would require my son to serve me. To serve my prince, as I would require my minister to serve me. To serve my elder brother, as I would require my younger brother to serve me. To set the example in behaving to a friend, as I would require him to behave to me. Sincerity. Sincerity contributes to a close connection between heaven and human. This guideline was demonstrated in the 23rd chapter. It is only he who is possessed of the most complete sincerity that can exist under heaven, who can give its full development to his nature. Able to give its full development to his own nature, he can do the same to the nature of other men. able to give its full development to the nature of other men. He can give the full development to the natures of animals and things, able to give the full development to the natures of creatures and things. He can assist the transforming and nourishing powers of heaven and earth, able to assist the transforming and nourishing powers of heaven and earth. He may with heaven and earth form a turnion. In Chinese society, in China prior to the 20th century, the doctrine of the mean was integrated into the education system statewide. Also, one of the prerequisites for employment in the imperial government was the study and understanding of the four classics. Included in this is the doctrine of the mean. The imperial state wanted to reinforce the three bonds of society between the parent and child, husband and wife, and ruler and subject. This was believed to emphasize a peaceful home and an orderly state. Recently in China, the new Confucians revisited the classics because of its strong foundation in the educational system. Using the doctrine of the mean has become a useful source for new Confucians due to the similarities in the terminology and expression used by them, and found within the text. This is further reinforced by the support from ancient sages and worthies who prefer education systems more closely linked to traditional Confucian thought. Disputes. Chiang Kai-shek and Sun Yat-sen both analyzed the doctrine. Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China, viewed doctrine of the mean as a mutation of eclecticism, which draws upon multiple theories, styles, or ideas to gain complementary insights into a subject. According to Mao's comment on Isiki's analysis of doctrine of the mean, doctrine of the mean is an eclecticism which simultaneously opposes the abolishment of exploitation and excessive exploitation. According to Mao, doctrine of the mean failed to realize that something deserves absolute negation, and in compromise, doctrine of the mean prevented China from progress. In his comment, Mao said that doctrine of the mean also goes against dialectics, as it stops qualitative change by emphasizing maintaining balance and harmony. Lu Xun, a leading figure of modern Chinese literature, saw doctrine of the mean as major contributing factor of the abject ethnic stereotype in modern China, believing it prevented reform from happening. In his speech Silent China, Lu Xun said that Chinese likes the reconcilable and the compromised. For example, people will not allow you to add a window to a dark room, but when you threaten to uncover the roof, they would compromise to the idea of adding a window. Without a radical proposal pushing them, Chinese won't permit even the mildest reform. Quote, translation and study. Andrew H. Plax read the essay, The Mean, Nature and Self-Realization, European translations of the Zhongyong, which was published in De Luno multiple traductions du Chinois vers les langues européennes. In his essay Plax argues that since the text of the doctrine of the mean is too easy, this factor is, as paraphrased by Joshua A. Fogel, and author of a book review for the De Luno multiple book, The Journal of Asian Studies, a major impediment to translation. Tsinghua Cash features the text, Baozun, which shares the topos of centrality with the Zhongyong.